What's up guys, my name's Dychronic here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about This Week at Bungie for June 6, 2019. This Week at Bungie is basically Destiny 2 or Bungie's news blog about Destiny 2 in the past week, current week, and the next few weeks in Destiny 2. Basically, your news blog posts of all the little things and information that you need to know about the upcoming stuff, and today is very, very special. Today, they had a world reveal about the new DLC. Now, this is an extra blog post, I'll be referring to this a couple times, but there was like an hour-long live stream of talking about the next DLC, the next chapter in Destiny 2, which is called Shadowkeep, that comes out on in fall, September 17th of this year. So basically, there's same kind of schedule, basically the same kind of time that Forsaken came out in the mid-September. We're going to be getting the next DLC, which is called Shadowkeep. In this video, I'm going to be going over the This Week at Bungie, but in general, This Week at Bungie doesn't really have a lot of information about the actual reveal. This is going to be all about the extra stuff they wanted to talk about, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the stuff they did reveal from that live stream. Now, as far as the information I'm going to give you a couple of different bullet points in a bunch of different sections. I'm not going to go in depth. There's a lot of little mini questions. There's a Q&A section handled by Dado on the actual live stream. So there's a lot of things and a lot of information. The entire thing, I highly recommend you check it out because that thing was just absolutely packed. And the very last thing I wanted to mention is cute fluffy animals on screen. I've got to do it. A lot of people complaining in the comments. I gotta deliver on the cute fluffy animals. So on screen, the cute fluffy animals right before we dive into the first section here. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started here with the next chapter of Destiny 2, and then I'll get back over to the TWAB. So the next DLC is actually called the Shadowkeep, where you return back to the moon. Now, there's going to be a lot of familiar areas. There's going to be a lot of the same areas, but with a lot of changes, as well as the fact that apparently it's twice the size as the original moon from Destiny 1, which is very exciting to see. And in general, the idea is basically where you actually are fighting a lot of the dead villains that you fought in the past. So things like Omnigul, you saw Crota, Gaul, Golgoroth even, a giant Minotaur, I forgot the name of him, Skolas. We saw a whole bunch of evil dudes that we've fought in the past. They're apparently rising from the dead in this DLC, and you're gonna have to fight them again, and apparently in a new way. And on top of that, Eris has returned. She's gonna be your main vendor, probably your main character of this DLC, which totally makes sense because she's all about that moon, hive, hellmouth situation. Now, if you want to see more information, I highly recommend you check out this VDoc on screen now. It's a 15-minute video where they go off a lot of these details. It's pretty much the bulk of the information is in this VDoc, as well as the fact there also is a trailer about like a minute to 2 minutes of a kind of a preview of what's going on. I believe everything here is also covered in this VDoc, so if you want to just watch one, VDoc will handle that, but this trailer is very cool and I highly recommend you check it out. On top of that, there's a whole bunch of new things, you know, new weapons, new weapon types and ideas. They mentioned a heavy bow with lots of weird knockback. They mentioned a hand cannon with a sight on it that feels like a sniper with special ammo. There's a ton of things that they mentioned throughout the VDoc as well as the live stream that you have to go check out. I can't go over every single new detail, but there's a couple of very big things that you should know about. So let's go ahead and talk about the first section here called New Light, which is actually really, really cool. If you ever had a friend who didn't play Destiny, you wanted to introduce him to this series, and then you realize it's probably like 50 hours of just grinding him at these earlier stages, going through earlier DLCs, and it doesn't really feel appealing, as well as the fact that it's a lot of money. Well, New Light hopefully will be able to solve that. I'm going to go over to the New Light page because there's a special page here about New Light. It's basically a new starting point for Destiny 2. So it'll basically start you in old Russia in the Cosmodrome, literally the first mission in Destiny 1. Have you do that mission, then you're brought to the tower, you are made the max level at 750 and the max level of character level at 50, and you can literally go to every single DLC and it's free. And I don't understand it. I think I'm missing something. They're saying that it's free from the cooperative quests, the competitive modes, challenging endgames, and more. Apparently, that's all free come September 17th, and I don't understand how that is because they also mentioned to get all of the past DLCs and base game, they're going to be offering a new bundle for $40. But apparently, if you haven't played Destiny 2 because you didn't want to go through all that grind, it's going to be free very soon in September, and you're going to be able to start off very quickly, get into the DLCs you want, and get into Shadowkeep as soon as possible. So I'm not exactly sure how it all works, but my understanding is that it is free, and you can play all the stuff, and it'll be quick, and you'll be leveled up if you are new to Destiny. Next section, they talk about how they're moving Destiny 2 on PC over to Steam. So no longer are they tied to Activision. They actually took a couple of shots at Activision through the VDoc and the whole stream. It was actually kind of funny if you've noticed it. But there's a bunch of stuff that Activision wanted from Bungie that they're removing themselves from. For example, they're no longer going to be with Blizzard. They're going to be moving over to Steam. Everything will transfer entirely. You don't have to worry about DLCs, all purchases, and of course Shadowkeep will also be sold on Steam and not on Blizzard. To be honest, this seems pretty straightforward, not much to say about it. Next up, let's talk about Stadia. Apparently Stadia is Google's new tool to basically play any game anywhere on a Google Chrome browser. And that's the idea that I heard, and apparently you can play Destiny 2 full 1080p 60 frames per second on a Google Chrome browser using Stadia, and you can literally play it anywhere, which I think is really, really cool, and I definitely want to try some of those things out. Next up, let's talk about cross-save. This is not cross-play, this is cross-save, where you can import all of your save data for Destiny 2 across all 4 of the platforms. It's going to be Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and the new Stadia thing, which is actually a new platform, where you can import those saves literally anywhere, play with any one of your friends. For example, me, I play a lot on PlayStation 4, but I have a lot of friends who also play on PC. It would be great to just like import the data and play with some people on PC, which will make it a lot easier for people to move around, which is something that we've been looking for a long time. But this is not cross-play, so you cannot play across consoles and platforms and all that stuff, but you can, if you own the game on both systems and whatnot, you can cross-save. And that is pretty much it for this section on the Shadowkeep. There's not much more to say. There's a bunch of links around here as you go along. If you want to learn more information about cross-save, you want to learn more information about Stadia, I actually opened the one for the new light to show you. There's a whole bunch of links here, as well as all the videos. This will be linked in the description down below. Now, I could go over the plethora of different things that they did talk about in this stream, but I'm not going to go over every single detail. On screen now, you can literally see all the notes that I took. Don't take all these notes as authority. They may not all be correct, but I took a whole bunch of notes, and there's a huge, absolute butt ton of things in that, so go watch that if you are interested. Moving over to this week of Bungie, we're gonna actually go through this week of Bungie, talk about the stuff they do, talk about it in a nutshell. Most of this is about Guardian Con. The first section here is gonna be about the Shadowkeep. We got a homage over to the world's first, and then it's Guardian Con, Guardian Con, Guardian Con, Guardian Con, Guardian Con, and then patch notes. So it's mostly about Guardian Con. If you want to know about Guardian Con or E3, they talk about this, and I'm going to go over it very briefly. So this first section, like I was saying, is basically a reiteration of what I've been saying. Here's the VDoc, here's the link to the page that I was showing you earlier. If you want to know information, you want the links, they're there as well. This next section, Chalice to Callus, is basically talking about the world's first rage, maybe it's world's first rage for Dado's team, but for Carolina 99 and Clan Be Bold, it was a world's first raid for Crown of Sorrows, and Dado's team was literally 6 minutes behind. When you're doing a raid for 4 hours, world's first, and you're 6 minutes behind, it really hurts. And I gotta say, my heart goes out to Dado and everybody who has competed, but shout out to Carolina Gamer, Esoteric, I also know, for doing an incredible job in the world's first Crown of Sorrows. It was an incredibly close race. This section basically says, hey, they won the belt. This is their experience. If you want to learn more about what they thought and whatnot, but let's go ahead and move on. Moving on to the next section, it's going to be about Guardian Con. If you did not know, it's basically a convention about things about Destiny 2, as well as a bunch of other things. Started with mostly Destiny stuff and has branched out to some other things like Borderlands and whatnot. I'm not really that in the know. I've never actually been, but my assumption is it's very similar to things like E3 or PAX, but their own twist to it. And obviously Destiny is going to be showcased at Guardian Con this year with Bungie. Apparently there's going to be 72 stations for you to play at. There's going to be a bunch of stuff they're going to be giving out, including these Drifter coins. There's going to be a risk reward matches, win or lose. You'll be able to play the reward matches to be able to win a Drifter coin, as well as I think this is a pin, and you can go get those as long as you wait in line every time. You can keep on getting these as much as you want. On top of that, they will be presenting the belt for the world's finish, the world's first to Carolina Gamer and Clan Be Bold at this actual ceremony on July 4th. So if you want to actually go see it, the big show, the WWE wrestler is actually going to be presenting these. Apparently he's been a big Destiny fan since the very beginning, since Atheon. I've actually seen a couple of his posts go through Destiny 2. Always surprised when I see WWE, the big show, go talking about Destiny, but he'll be there presenting the belts, which is actually really cool. Next section talks about Eris Morn. If you wanted to get to know more about the voice actress, which is actually this lady here. I know a little bit of a juxtaposition between Eris Morn, evil woman, and then hot redhead, but you know, it's there if you want to go check out some of the work that she's done as well as the fact that she will be there at GuardianCon if you want to see her. Next up, talking about some of the props that the Destiny community has made. A guy named Eric Newgard made a whole bunch of cool things, including these weapons and whatnot. They're actually really, really cool. The Whisper of the Worm. You got this, I forgot what the name of this weapon is. It's gonna come to me sooner or later, but it was in King's Fall. I keep forgetting what it is, but there's a whole lot of really cool weapons that they made, and they're very high quality. Basically giving him a shout out, and he's gonna be on GuardianCon. Next up, talking about a ride-along, which, you guessed it, is going to be at GuardianCon. If you wanted to do 0 Hour with the two of the creators of the Wish of the Worm and 0 Hour missions, they will be on stage for the ride-along if you want to see that. Next up is going to be Dr. Bunji. You know that by this blue section. I'm actually running out of breath at this moment. I've been going for about 20-25 minutes. But let's go ahead and talk about the known issues. I'm not going to read off every single one of them, but this is the entire list of the known issues. I'm not going to go into detail, but you can see them on screen if you're interested. And that is actually not it. There's a couple more things to go. They wanted to mention again that the pursuits have changed location. They're in the director where the map and the destination, the roster is. They're in here. They have this new look to it. In my opinion, it's not very good. I don't think that they should stretch this as far as they do. I get the idea, so you can preview it that having to highlight it, but highlighting is fine. And making it so you have to go across 3 pages, in my opinion, is not worked, and putting it in the director is not really that helpful, especially on console, considering how long it takes to load up. Literally switching from the map to the pursuits, it takes a good 5 seconds to load up, and that's something that should be a lot faster than it is. So in my opinion, I think it should look more like this. This was actually from a picture I saw on Twitter. I retweeted, I replied. This is a much better idea. You can see things like, for example, the synthesizers. If you want to go and make those triangles for Reckoning, or you want to use the Chalice, they're their own little section. They're also organized by bounties, exotics, and other things. I think this is a much better way to do it. Obviously, this is just one man's opinion, and I didn't make this, by the way. This is somebody else, but this is probably a much better way to do it. So maybe Bungie could scrap this whole pursuit thing and move on. But that is mostly it. This next section is going to be Movie of the Week, all about the Crown of Sorrows raid, Thick Boys, the Winner Chicken Dinner for Carolina Gamer, as well as Be Bold for Destiny, and a couple other things. They also mentioned that they released a lore thing last week. If you want to learn more information about some lore in the Crown of Sorrows and whatnot, as well as some high-resolution desktop backgrounds in case you're interested. And of course, there's going to be this little hyperlink for Cheers, where it's a pixelated version of Callus in front of his new raid thing. And that is pretty much it. I apologize for stumbling and rambling and going so long, but I wanted to get all that information over to you in case you're interested. Again, a link in the description down below will be linked to this page, This Week of Bungie, also linked to the next chapter in Destiny 2, as well as a link to the full live stream if you wanted to see the full thing. But that is pretty much it. That is This Week at Bungie for June 6, 2019. My name has been Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one.